I'm Todd Bookspan, and welcome to your neighborhood real estate show. The hyperlocal real estate show where real estate professionals talk about the neighborhood you live in or the neighborhood you want to live in. This episode is brought to you by homebuyeruniversity.net, your free comprehensive guide to buying or refinancing your home. Click over to homebuyeruniversity.net to get started online today. Hey everyone, I'm Todd Bookspan, and welcome to your neighborhood real estate show where we're going to talk East Mesa with Toon from REMAX Alliance Group.
How you doing? Todd? Good to be here today.
Hey, I'm thrilled to have you here. So you're not just a producer at REMAX Alliance Group; you're also the broker owner.
I am.
So that's awesome.
Thank you.
But we're going to talk really. Let's kind of jump in, give a little history. I know you've been in the business for a little bit.
Going 44 years in April. I love the business. My parents were in the business back in the 70s, so it was kind of a natural progression, I guess you might say. And So I've been with REMAX since 1993. I've had 3 different brokerages. We used to do a lot of relocation work with Motorola through a company I own called Southwest Relocations, Motorola VLSI, and McDonnell Douglas back in the day.
Yeah.
So we've done a few things.
True veteran of the industry.
I guess.
And you work with your wife.
Yeah, my wife Andrea and I run REMAX Alliance Group. We have 48 agents right now. Would love to have a few more, and so we're always looking for good agents. The company averages about 15 deals per agent on an annual basis, so we're a strong producing company.
That's awesome.
It's good stuff.
That's awesome. And
Thank
so you love to sell in East Mesa. So tell us about East Mesa. Like, where the heck is that in relation to Phoenix for someone who's listening from out of state and doesn't know?
So Northeast Mesa is basically bounded by, I call from Gilbert Road all the way out to the east to Meridian, which then you get into Pinal County, and from Brown Road north to the reservation. So it's a big area. There's several awesome communities out there, and I've always lived in Northeast Mesa, so that's where I like to practice.
Yeah.
Even though I do go all over, I just sold a home in downtown Phoenix a couple weeks ago, but for the most part, I like to work that area up there by my home. So.
And there's, every price range out there, right? So
the price ranges are, you can get it. We just had one go on the market and sell overnight for $139,800. It was a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath patio home built in the 70s in a 55-plus community, and to as much as $3 million.
So it's the full range.
It's a huge range of pricing. So the average price up there is about, I think the last time I checked was like $326,000.
Okay, so
$326,000. Yeah.
And you have a bunch of stats there. What's on that paper? Scares me. There must be something on there you want to talk about.
Well, I was thinking that in 85207, I noticed this morning that there's only 158 listings on the market. A year ago, there was 225.
Yeah, so that's a significant, 50% decrease.
Probably about 40%.
So your math is better than mine.
Whatever. we're who's counting, right? I'd rather have a friend than be right.
50% increase if I went the other way, but the decrease maybe is a little different math.
But average time on the market, we have about 2.5 months of supply, 2 1/3 months of supply of homes.
What's healthy? What's normal?
Normal is hopefully around 90 days.
Okay.
But that's not the case anymore. Things have changed dramatically, as we know. Mesa itself is up, I think it's like 13% over last month.
Wow.
So it's huge. It's
up 13% in value.
In value. No, not in value. No, not in value. I'm sorry. What is the market that what's the indicator we use? I can't remember it, but we're up. There's a change of 13%. I think it's in homes that are pending.
Got it.
Is up
okay.
13%.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Just over last month, average price per foot is about $216.
Yeah.
And the sales price is typically right around $200.
So talk about a couple of communities there. We got a bunch we can talk about, but what are some of your favorites?
Well, I'm partial to Red Mountain Ranch because it has a wonderful golf course. I love golf, and it's a great price range from about $240,000 to as much as $2 million. Wow. And the average price is probably right around $350.
What type of amenities do they have besides golf?
They have a wonderful clubhouse. They have a great workout facility, really nice pool. But that's all. You've got to have a membership to enjoy all those.
Okay.
So the biggest thing for Red Mountain Ranch, as well as Las Sendas and other areas up there, is probably the mountain views. You're close to the rivers, close to the lakes. There's a lot of common area for if you like walking your dog, hiking, a lot of hiking up in that area. So,
and young families, older retired folks, all in between.
All in between.
Yeah.
A lot of. There's some wonderful Las Sendas Elementary School as well as Red Mountain Elementary, Red Mountain High School, where my older daughters went to school. Is a great. They did. Sorry. I've got a lot of kids. But anyway, Red Mountain High has always been very strong in academics and sports. It's a good place to raise a family.
All right, so why would someone choose Las Sendas versus Red Mountain?
Las Sendas is a higher priced home. If you look at per square foot prices, like 1,571 square feet, which is a Blandford home, is now selling for. Last one I saw was around $375. You could get 2,200 square feet in Red Mountain Ranch, right across Power Road for around the same price.
Okay.
So Las Sendas, much higher price per square foot. Newer homes built in the 90s, where Red Mountain Ranch started in the 80s. And then of course the higher up you go on the mountain, the more expensive it gets with the views. So we've got one up there. Last year they sold for $2.2 million.
Wow.
So there's some big ticket items, beautiful homes.
Yeah. Sounds like it. And I know there's a lot up there. Talk about the Citrus Corridor.
So that's my favorite area. I actually grew up in that Citrus area off of Gilbert and Brown, from Gilbert all the way out to Higley. There's a new subdivision there's a couple new subdivisions that are probably close to being sold out. Trovita and the Blandford subdivision, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, Citrus Corridor basically is all citrus trees, varieties of orange, grapefruit, navel orange, lemon, what have you. But excuse me, it's more of a traditional area, traditional style homes.
And that's
large lots.
And that's what it all used to be out there, right? It was all citrus groves back in the day when I first moved to town.
Right, that was it. Yeah.
Now it's citrus trees with houses.
Citrus trees with houses. That's what it is. Exactly.
I think that's awesome. So you were talking about low inventory, right? So I think as buyers are coming into this market, how are you prepping buyers to be prepared to go out and shop and face what's going on?
Well, it's funny you ask, because I just picked up a new buyer last night. They're coming in from Tennessee, and they're familiar with the Arizona market. They want to live in Cave Creek or Fountain Hills, and the home prices out there have gone sky high, like everything else. And so I just heard this morning in the news that Cave Creek just topped $1 million as an average sales price.
Not bad.
So they were looking at spending $450 to $500 for about 2,200 square feet. In Cave Creek, you can't find it. Fountain Hills, you still can, but they've raised their expectations to $575 to get what they want, which is typically an older home in Fountain Hills built in the 80s, maybe 90s, on a 12,000 foot lot for about $550.
So ultimately, people have to be prepared that with rising prices, they may have to adjust their price point, and then.
Unfortunately, that's the case in Mesa. I mean, the average. You can't find a $250,000 home, or you can, but there's gonna be multiple offers on it. It is what it is. What I find interesting though is that even though we're above what we were in 2005, 2006, we still have all this room to grow, because Phoenix is still one of the lowest priced or most affordability plan, or affordability index, if you use that, compared to other areas around the country.
Yeah, I recently saw, I think we might have been at the same dinner where we learned from the folks at the Cromford Report, right, that now based on what income is and what home prices are, we're super affordable compared
We're
to.
still very affordable
Compared
because
to many
income's
other
gone
places.
up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when we used to hire secretaries for $7 to $8 an hour. I'm sure you can remember that too.
Yeah.
And now that's 15 to 20. You know?
Oh yeah,
So,
it's all gone up, and I think people always forget that part, right?
yes, they do.
So what about listings then? Obviously, if someone's got a house to sell, that can move pretty quick.
So, example, I put one on the market in Red Mountain Ranch. It's 2,350 square feet with a pool, 3-car garage, single story on a 9,800 foot lot. The comps showed 420, 425, but because there's no inventory, we bumped it up to 435. It sold in 2 days for full price.
Wow.
And I had I would have had multiple offers at 435. So, and no concessions.
So what would you tell someone who's hesitant to list now because they're worried that if they sell, they won't be able to find a new house?
That's a great question. So that's a tough one, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. In today's financial market, you guys are able to get people approved for 2 house loans, right?
That's true. That is true.
If they have enough money to put down, and if they can afford, both payments and what
Yeah,
have you,
absolutely.
so.
Actually, that's a really common strategy that we're using,
Right.
so people can take away the contingency, meaning that they can't buy the new house unless
Right.
the old house sells. And we're still finding it tends to work out where once they find that new house, they're able to sell the old house because things are moving.
It'll
so
sell
quick.
so fast.
Right.
If the home, in today's market, just like any market at any time, back in 08, 09, when things were horrible, the homes that were really well kept and in very good condition would still sell at top dollar, whatever that is
Right.
at the time. And so the same thing holds true today. Most buyers I think we all find and agree with this, that most buyers today, because of HGTV and other programs like it, other channels like it, they want it already done. They don't want to buy the home and fix it up.
Right.
That's for the investor.
Well, and you can't get a new kitchen for $8,000 like they do on HGTV.
No, you can't.
I'm like, what? $8,000? No way.
But yeah, so if the client has a nice home and they want to upgrade or downsize, there's a lot of downsizing with the baby boomers going on right now. I talked to one client this morning. He's got 8,900 square feet on 3.5 acres.
Whoa.
And he wants to downsize to 4,000 square feet
All right, well, that's
on an acre.
Well,
So we're going to start looking at that, but they're in a position where they can buy, not worry about selling, because that type of home in Mesa will sell. It could take a year. It could take 2 years to sell, because your buyer pool is so small. It would be a different story, of course, than if it was in Scottsdale, but or Paradise Valley.
well, and so it seems like there's great opportunity for someone who's going to sell their house to maximize their profit right now.
It's an incredible time to be selling their home, and we're looking at 2020 from everything we hear and read. That's going to be another banner year for real estate. 2021, they don't know yet. It's a long ways out.
I would say my crystal ball is a little foggy.
And mine's a little foggy too, but with all the, as we saw the other night at the dinner that we were at, there's a lot of movement coming from states like Illinois, New York, New Jersey, even Kansas.
Yeah, cold places.
And cold places.
Cold places.
And Arizona is still number 3 this year for places to move to.
Yeah, I've heard that something like 222 people a day, something crazy.
Is that
like
what it is?
That's what I heard the other day.
That makes sense. I heard 60,000 last year just from California moved in.
Wow.
And we see a lot of California plates, a lot of Illinois plates. I had 2 families from Illinois move into our neighborhood that we went down and introduced ourselves
Oh, that's
to.
awesome.
And they love Arizona.
Well,
They haven't seen a summer yet though.
well, it's okay. Let's not scare people off. I mean, in the summer we just stay in the air conditioning.
We stay in the pool or the air conditioning, or we take a little trip up north or something.
I always say that I'll put up with the 2 months of super hot
Right.
weather for the rest of the year when it's beautiful.
Exactly. Absolutely. I know.
We'll do a good commercial for the Sunshine State.
That's right. We can't beat our weather cannot be beat, and apparently our commerce can't be beat either, because we're like number 1 in growth and in pretty much all business markets too.
Yeah,
and
we seem to be
services.
attracting a lot of new companies. A lot of people are
Right.
investing in building here,
Yeah.
which is great. It's just a good sign for jobs in the economy, because it doesn't help to move somewhere if you can't get a job.
Exactly, and like you said, and like we talked earlier, our labor force, the rates, they keep going up, so it makes it affordable for people coming from other states,
Yeah, absolutely.
and our cost of living's less for the most part.
Right. which always helps. Right?
We don't have the tax. Our property taxes are half of what other
Our
states
property taxes
are.
are super low.
Yeah.
We're fortunate about that.
Yeah, but then our auto fees are a little higher, but just give and take.
Little this, little that.
Right.
So what about all right? Before we start talking about REMAX and your brokerage, what else around East Mesa or buying and selling real estate should we mention to the listeners?
Boy, well, if we're talking about the homes, you have some really wonderful things happening up in that northeast section. We're getting a lot of commercial activity now. We have Fat Cats just opened up at Wrecker and the 202. We have a Sprouts, which is nice, in addition to Bashas' and Safeway and Albertsons.
A little selection.
So we got a good selection, and there's some nice restaurants up there. We don't have any chain restaurants to speak of, but there's a lot of nice.
Well, that's okay, isn't it?
It's okay, but I'm saying that
I kind of prefer that.
Well, I know. Yeah, I'm saying you have to go south. You have to
Yeah.
go down to Superstition Springs if you like Carrabba's or Outback or one of those. But there's some nice small restaurants that are really. You don't have to go to Scottsdale, in other words, to get a good meal.
That's
so
good
to speak.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'd love to put you on the spot to talk a little bit about REMAX and in particular REMAX Alliance Group. I mean, some people who are listening may not be familiar with the brand. I can't imagine they haven't seen the big balloon before. But talk about why REMAX for you, and then how would you talk to an agent who's not really sure where they should go as they're getting in the business?
Well, so REMAX, of course, was started in 1973 by Dave and Gail Leniger. It's grown to almost 130,000 agents worldwide. We're in 110 different countries.
Wow!
So there's incredible there's an incredible amount of value that you can say about that, because you're able so easily to refer a client to another part of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a situation last year where I referred one of my golfing buddies. They have some land in Germany off of some island in the Baltic Sea, and I found a REMAX agent in Germany that knows the area. They put the property on the market. It hasn't sold yet, but it's a unique property. But anyway, I was able to find that.
Buy an island in the Baltic Sea.
Would that be fun? This is on a small island. It's like 2 acres on an island.
All right, well, never mind.
Yeah,
if it's on an island, maybe I'd be interested.
Right. And just a couple days ago, an agent from another company asked me how to get a REMAX agent referral in Denver. That's a very simple one, since REMAX was started in Denver. And in Golden is where this particular buyer wants to go. So I helped her with that. But REMAX Alliance Group is the oldest REMAX office in Arizona. We've been around since 1990. I went to work for REMAX in 93 and came to REMAX Alliance Group in, I think it was 2010. Andrea and I bought the business in 2016. We have 50, right at 50 agents. What's unique about our little office is that we provide some very good training through our vendors and through myself. We have REMAX has 14 core classes that they teach on buyer conversion, listing conversion, seller, how to lead gen, activities management, things like that. So we're able to help not only the veteran agent or broker, but also new agents get their feet wet and get started in the business. The REMAX model is really designed for a full-time person that wants to build a business, and that's what we're a business that builds businesses. So it's very important that an agent understands that. I usually have them take a DISC profile test to see what kind of where they're going to lie in the sales process. It's amazing, Todd, how I just heard a stat the other day. 90% of salespeople today, doesn't matter what business, but 90% of salespeople have never taken a sales course.
I'm not surprised by that. I think that's one of the challenges. I mean, I've always learned to sell by intuition. I've never been formally trained in sales, right. And I just wish I had been. Because it's not too late.
Well, it's not too late. I mean, so it's never too late to start, but there's so many good coaches out there today, good sales processes, classes to take, and that's what I think people need, because it's about Selling is strictly about relationships as far as I'm concerned.
That's how I've always sold. I don't view it selling. I view it as I'm making a friend. If I can make you my friend, then you'll probably want to do business.
Exactly. And, there's a lot of agents out there that like, the cold calling process. And it's just about, turn and burn or burn and churn, whatever you want to call it. And they don't build up their database with solid relationships. They always got to be selling. So I believe in relationship selling.
Yeah, I think that's really, I love that that's important. I think that's really critical is to get, to build that up. And I think it's critical too from those of you who are listening who are not in the business. When you said, hey, we don't take new agents, you guys really do have.
We do take, I shouldn't say we don't take new agents. It's just, I have a couple agents that have been with us like 2 years that are doing extremely well. They're already in the six-figure.
Oh, that's great. If someone was going to call your office looking for someone to buy or sell a home, you guys have great agents.
We do. We have good agents that can take very good care of the person. We stress values, trust, honesty, those types of things, and it pays off. Our agents. I have agents that have been with us. I have 10, 12 agents have been with us over 19 years.
Wow.
One for 27.
Wow.
So we have, so once you get into REMAX, you tend to stay with REMAX.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they do extremely well. So yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. Well, I hope all of you listening got as much out of this as me. I learned about East Mesa, which is great. Now I have to go out there more than the once a year I go out there to visit Mark. And
you didn't know that?
No, it's all good. That's what this is all about. So I'm Todd Bookspan. This is your neighborhood real estate show. We'll see you on our next episode.
Thank you very much, Todd. Appreciate it.
This episode is brought to you by homebuyeruniversity.net, your free comprehensive guide to buying or refinancing your home. Click over to homebuyeruniversity.net to get started online today.